hidden, forgotten. This is Harbor Town. Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
Hear me? Just doing a quick sound check. Excellent. Yeah, we usually talk behind. Although I am waiting for Mark to get on. He ain't on yet. So I knew Tim was going to be late, real late. So. Dice, yeah, Rocks, Wiz Dice and Stratagem are the same, are part of the same company actually. So yeah, Wiz Dice is and Stratagem are one of the same, which is cool. Yep, they both. So we had technically two sponsors, count Stratagem and Wiz Dice together. So it's coolness though, man, that you caught that. Working on a true third sponsor, and I'm gonna wait till Gen Con now. It hasn't gone as I had planned, but we're working on a third sponsor. Alright, Rocks, you're gonna like this screen. Chang, I found a good open, code, open source position. So, hey, Frank. Gonna be a fun one. Plus, if I get to it at Gen Con, or before or after Gen Con, I'm not sure at this point. Because one, we're going to start running Thursday. It's a little bit longer than I thought. There's the Naz. You like that? That was for you. And by the way, that's all in Darlene's Greyhawk Gothic font, which has just been released. So, for anyone who's new, Lord Peakshaven and Tring Lee's a bar in, Tring Lee in the Duchy of Ulick, and it's got some very amusing stories going back to the days of our campaign. So that's why we call Gabbin at Lord Peakshaven. It's one of those bars that has the, you could say, has the felt pictures of the dogs playing pool up. It's one of those kind of places. And that goes all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s in that discussion. Cranking it up. Okay, Trooper, thanks for that. Let me know. I appreciate that. Let me pop it down there. What's up, Gitano? Everyone else hopping on. Obviously, we got a whole bunch. I mean, last week, guys, was like unbelievable. We went 4 hours, 40 minutes, went to midnight. You know, we'll do our normal to 9:30 tonight, 7:30 and 9:30. There's Mark. Yo, yo, yo. Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Tim will be on around 8:30, so.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gitano. That was the show. I mean, that was unbelievable last week with all the guests. We had 6 people on. It was awesome. Thank you. It was so cool. Carlos was great. They were all great. Just was a fantastic 50th show, celebrating not only the show but Greyhawk as well. And we just wanted to do a general Greyhawk show. It was awesome. Hey, Will. Yeah, Will was on too, man. We had Will, and we had Anna, and we had Greyhawk Mike. We had the ever mysterious Tim, Carlos. We had a great crew. It was fun. And tonight, you know, we're gonna crank it up. This one, yeah. Well, you see the fonts up now. We're gonna pop some more on. Yeah, it was like I said, a talk show 4 hours and 40 minutes long. It's crazy. All right, 7:30. Here we go. I got Marco. I got dear Marco on with me here, guys. So here we coming on. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I'm J.K. Lord Kazama. I got DM Marco on with me, who DMs on the Lord Kazama channel, his game. I got hair sticking up. Number of hair 10,000 is out of place, Mark. Yes. So Mark, you're off this week, but you're on now on the July 1st, right?
Correct.
So hello, everyone. And we got got a couple people from, I want to say shout out to Wu-Tang, Piglet, Luca Trooper from the Greyhawk channel are watching tonight. I want to say, hey, thanks guys for checking us out here, and with all the other friends and family that we have, thanks a lot for coming on and giving us. Oh, now we just lost. Did we lose connection?
Yeah, it like paused just for a second.
All right, we paused a bit there. Sorry. It was Mark's fault. So we got a fun one coming up tonight, and as you can see, a couple quick announcements. I have the Darlene font all over the place. It's been open for Creative Commons. Anna Meyer, our great friend, got this font released, so it's up top, okay, and I put it on. I put it up wherever I could. It's fantastic. It's going to be over all of our broadcasts. It won't be in like my discussion font because, when I got long sentences, it takes up a lot of space, but it's all over the ads and everything. So you'll see the Darlene. It's called Gothic, Greyhawk Gothic.
Yep.
So you'll see it all over the place. And oh gosh, I should be doing this. I got a lot of catching up to do here on our followers too. So, but that's number one. Now, number two, all you subscribers, and look at all of you on there. I have, Frank, it looks awesome. It is a great font. It is really cool. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff. So, Luca, thanks, man. Thank you so very much for doing that. Go to your chat and go to your pop up your smiley face and look what you can do. I had to rename it, but it is called Tim Loves Good Critical. So, and there it is. So you all guys, yes. So now tier 1s can finally use the Tim head. I moved it from a tier 2 to tier 1 for criticals. So now we have our fumble head and our critical head. So yes. Yes.
Don't forget that you can do the no, just no if you need to for your campaign.
There you go. So
use it often.
The question I think Rox is asking is, yes, if you can use, as long as it's for non-commercial use. Now, is this Twitch broadcast for commercial use? I asked Anna Meyer specifically if I could use it on this, and she said absolutely. So I got permission. So yes, with the Tim heads comes great irresponsibility, definitely.
Ain't that the truth?
So it's been a good time. Tonight is going to be a blast. Tim's going to hop on probably around 8:30. He's preoccupied before them, but it's the ever mysterious Tim. So we're going to talk tonight, and this came up. Of course, guys, why this comes up.
All right, so Jay, let me stop you for a second. I'm going to reboot really quick because everything is really choppy.
All right, sounds good, Mark. I'll just keep on talking. Right, I can do that. You know me. I can talk like crazy. Did I do Phoenix the Metal or Maca Man? Oh well. So we have we got some new followers. Got some resubs coming up too. Mark's going to reboot here. This always comes up with. There's certain, and Naz Rocks especially, there's certain characters that you get an affinity for, even though you may really, really despise them. And, we have that in our campaign. But there's ones in canon, quote-unquote, published sources as well, that everyone in the Greyhawk campaign really, maybe loves them in a sort of disturbing way or really hates them. So we're going to discuss them too. So I got them flipping through here, and also to lower right, I just wanted to do a little. I pulled out some books for some of you, of long adventures that could be either converted for Greyhawk use or some people don't like this one, Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk. It's 3.5. I love it. I love it more than Greyhawk Ruins, or because they don't seem to have an end game in them. It's almost like no reasoning behind it, even though there was first edition one and second edition one. This one has a story plot line to it. We ran this before we were streaming, and it really scales up for high level, but it's cool. So I wanted to I'll start throwing a couple out here as the discussion goes on. There's a lot of hated people in this too. You got Eaz in here, you got Eggwolf in this one, and we'll get to them on the discussion. But yeah, there's some really Vane is in that as well, if you know who they are. There's a whole plot behind it, but I love that. And this is what we're gonna do tonight. Yes, love to hate them, absolutely. So you guys got the Tim heads tonight. That's surprise number one. You got the new font, surprise number two. We got a ton of people on. Thank you. Mark will be back on shortly, but we'll just keep on going with getting everything updated. So we're going to save the best for last because that's the way. Luca. So Igwolf is a great character that was kind of developed at the end of 1E2E. Kind of in Return to the 8 is the adventure that she really got developed in. Yeah, and here he comes back. There you go. Better, Mark? Better?
Much.
Good.
Much. So my apologies, everyone.
That's cool. So I was saying that Igwolf, someone brought up, Luca Troopa brought up Igwolf. Igwolf was brought out, Return of the 8 was the first time she really came out and was really mentioned. So someone that, there's a lot of great NPCs in Greyhawk, a lot of good ones. So I got one more to do here, and then we're good. We're free and clear on stuff. So.
Yep. And some that in canon are dead and are not dead for us.
Exactly, and that's another cool thing. So for the new people, like look, the campaign is 39 and a half years old now, right? So we're getting there. We've run 800. Thursday night will be. Well, that was interesting. It came up. Oh, I hit it twice by accident. My bad.
Oh, okay.
39 and a half years. Our 856th adventure will be on Thursday, and I have that as a teaser coming up. It's a lot of you make your game, you meld Greyhawk. That's what's so great about early Greyhawk. It was meldable into whatever you wanted it to be, and that's what we've done. So, and that's where ours has grown. And yeah, wait till the 40. I'm gonna have a special. I'm gonna have all sorts of special stuff for your 40 starting in 2020. So some of these characters you may be remotely familiar with, right, Mark? Some a little bit, and you go, well, that character's really not that way, but in our campaign it is. So let's talk first about a canon one, Mark. Let's talk about Eas and Igwolf, since Luca Troopa brought him up
Sure.
as one. Everyone hates Eas, right? I mean, it doesn't get more hated than Eas. Some people pronounce it Ias. We've always pronounced it Eas. So, yeah. Thanks, Daz. Your 40 Nerf comment, 2 Electric Boogaloo. That's a good. You're always good for those, man. You're always good for something. Always good for a comment or two like that. They've been a thorn in our side for a long time, and even before the war, our Greyhawk Wars occurred, years ago. But Eas makes an appearance in Temple of Elemental Evil at the end. So the first appearance Eas made in our campaign was 86, 87 at the end of the first TEE we ran, and of course he parlays with St. Cuthbert. His mother Igwolf doesn't appear until Return of the 8. That's when I first remember seeing her. I was like, oh man, this is a nasty character. Hey, Sprocket.
I like it too. Eutz.
Eutz. Yeah, there's all different sorts of ways of pronouncing it, man. All different sorts of ways. So, thanks a lot for that bring up. But Mark, what do you want to comment about those two?
So honestly, I mean, Eas is in a lot of lore when it comes to Greyhawk. I mean, it really comes a lot more to power when it comes to the Greyhawk Wars and the From the Ashes box set. Now, if you take the time to read it, it's a lot of really great history. I mean, the storyline behind how he basically goes through and almost conquers all of Orth as we know it is absolutely fantastic. Now, granted, we deviated a bit from that simply because the Knights of Ulick have been such a powerful force that we've been able to kind of hold them off to a degree. Not just Lord Gazumba, but there's others that help them too.
I was pointing to the symbol, the Order of Ulick symbol.
And Igwolf, obviously, we encountered her more in Castle Greyhawk.
This Expedition of Runes of Greyhawk. She's big in this, but there's a twist. So any of you who haven't run it yet, I mean, it's a thick book. Look at it. It's a hardback book, thick. All right. It's probably easily convertible from 3.5 to 1E2E that we play, or 5E that the Greyhawk channel plays, or that Will plays, or that Frank plays. This I highly recommend it. I was skeptical when I got this, but Mark, you had a blast during it, right?
Oh, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, other than the fact that they brought back Dungeon Land for the second time,
And Isle of the
it
Ape.
wasn't bad enough the first time, you know.
There's a lot of really quirks in this. It's cool. Now, what I did differently, which I thought was even more genius, and Mark, you can agree or disagree, is I took our high-level character adventure group, the Iron Brigade, which will be discussed in the next Earth Journal, by the way. That's coming out soon. And a low-level brand new group called Iron Fury, which is a feeder group for them in our Greyhawk campaign. We created new firsts, and they did smaller missions at the time in this campaign for the higher level group. So I had a high level group going on at the same time as a low level group in the same campaign, in the same series of adventures. Plus, we moved in characters from other adventures too, like for other adventuring groups. Like the Grey Company came on the one event mission. It was a cool one to run. That's why I brought it out. But he is Igwolf, and in that is the main antithesis is really not either one of those, but it's this douchebag, Vane, right?
Yep.
Vane's mentioned in the Eye is the Evil supplement. He's a greater Boneheart member that gets demoted to lesser Boneheart because he's basically incompetent. All right, so this is another canon mention, and he is very prevalent in this adventure. Let's just say something bad happens in this, but I use that to my advantage in an adventure that you all remember, that all you old schoolers that have been with us for a year, events before David Granovis's wedding, and he turned out to be the major antithesis in that one. So it was a little twist on us too. So I think Vane was universally despised, but it's kind of comical because he always gets splatted. He just kills him, then re-raises him just to mess with him in this adventure. So it's some cool things. So guys, remember, we're always an open discussion. Thanks, Luca, for bringing up Igwolf. We'll always answer any questions you can if you want to know anything else. We're going to bounce around. I got a list here. We're not going to talk about any that Tim are in with until like 8:30 when Tim hops on. We'll leave that for him, but we'll talk about some of the other ones. Let's go to a campaign one of ours. Pick one, not one of the main three that that everyone in the audience wants. We'll save them for the end.
Sure.
So what do you think? I'm thinking.
So I'm thinking Lisden.
Good. Okay.
So my fondest memory, honestly, as far as a constant nemesis or antagonist, if you will, was Lisden.
Lisden Reinhofen.
Yep.
Human, male, kind of neutral with evil tendencies guy.
Yep.
Our bounty hunter class in our campaign, which was at the time I didn't let people play assassins, so I created this bounty hunter class. It's in here. We use it to this day. It's a great class. Enhanced it a little bit. It's in our Races and Classes book. Do the setting, assuming.
Sure.
That Wayne group. Yeah, go ahead. So
it was even before like those guys played.
Yep. Yes, it was.
I distinctly remember him, and I have fond memories of it sitting in Tim's dining room. And specifically, you always knew you were going to be in for a long night when you would just see this figure come out that had a black and gold shield and a bright red beard. and you just knew that Jay was in a bad mood. And you just tried not to mouth off, and all of us tried to figure out how to actually get him. And so all he would do is he would just sit there, and Jay would just sit there and he'd cross his arms like this. So you think you're tough? And that's all he would say.
Yeah.
So he to me was probably the worst antithesis that we actually had. And he honestly was one of those types that he was delivering the message. Like he was Jay's NPC to deliver what it was that we were actually going to go and do. And then, of course, if somebody pissed him off, there was always the transition to traveling. And no matter what, no matter how long it took, it could be 5 minutes down the road, or it could be a 3-day travel. And you would just watch Jay's face just get this evil leer, and he would take this figure and he would put it behind whoever it was that he felt like putting it behind, usually somebody who was mouthy. And he would roll 20-sided die behind the screen, and typical as we all know, Jay cheats, and would always knock out whoever it was there, except one time, the one time that he actually rolled it out in front by accident, and he fumbled. And ended up falling down stunned. And all of us were like, rubbing our hands together thinking, okay, finally, we're going to get rid of this guy. And what happens?
Oh, you're saying this with Tim not here to defend himself.
Of course. But Tim to the rescue, playing a lawful good paladin, and says, oh, no, we need to turn him into the authorities.
Yep. So in 1 year of game time, he did a 1 year jail sentence, and then he was out. So that's the way it goes. But you're right. You love to hate him. Absolutely, yeah. Lisden. I've gotten away from using him because he served his purpose in the late 80s, early 90s with some of the players we had. And as those players moved on, the need for him kind of diminished. And the allure of redoing it kind of diminished, but he's still around. He's popped in.
Now his kid's around.
Well, he popped in at Winchester's Bulwark. Remember, looking for this mage that Anna's Zestra is looking for as well. So they're hunting this mage who keeps on popping in and out. So I did bring him back. Didn't pull his you think you're tough thing, but that served his purpose.
Now, did you push his figure up there?
Did not put his figure up there.
Okay.
I did not. I put some others up there, but I did not put his up there.
Okay.
So, I got a nice mix of figures.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
I was just so that the viewers could actually see.
Some of them, by the way, so I lost the laughing out loud emote because I added the Tim Critical emote to tier 1. So, and Brian's hopefully going to make DM's Crushing Fist for tier 2. So, I don't expect anyone to sub tier 2 or 3. So they're the only ones that I can use. So, but we need to get the critical hit out to the fans and the audience because there's every time a crit's rolled out, they couldn't do it. Now they can. So awesome. That's a good one. That was a great one, actually. I'm going to badmouth Alan. It's early in the show, and these two of these. I wasn't even around playing. I just hate them for the concept. Okay. And I think, he's still trying to bring these two characters back, right? You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're
talking about. Reed and Rake. Identical twin Sylvan Elf archers, right? Did I get that correct?
You did?
Yes.
You did.
Okay.
For the viewers, they were actually, so I would give Jay a break. And I was running a campaign same time he was running it. And this is really when the City of Greyhawk box set first came out, because that's where I had stationed everybody. And there's a really great, just not to divert too much, but there's a really great place in the Artisans Quarter, which is called the Fat of the Hog. And the reason why I got drawn to it is because I'm no culinary expert. I cook for a hobby. And so I love to do it. But it was something that just made my bowels just turn just thinking about it, called Lard Soup.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so intriguing that it was Wide Waldo is the proprietor of the Fat of the Hog, and loved it. Just loved the background story and everything with it. At any rate, everybody started off with a different set of characters, and Alan decided that he wanted to play dual archers, twin brothers, one that was kind of like the macho, arrogant ass, and the other that was the real sensitive, easygoing, nice guy. Now, to his credit, I mean, he played both very, very well. And interestingly, you will hear about them now in our campaign, especially when we talk about the wonderful relationship, the most loving relationship in the entire campaign between Copus and Heather.
Copus, Millstone, and Heather.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Heather used to be Rake's girlfriend. before he got eaten by a white.
Yes, and yes. It's a fun concept, but Alan's got the archer affinity, and 2 archers in a group is nasty, and it's just like, oh my god, this is too much. So, and plus he's still to this day trying to get back. Which one got eaten, Reed or Rake?
Reed is the one that did. Rake is the one that's and I should say Reed is the arrogant, self-absorbed ass, and Rake is the, kind of the putsy,
yes.
nice guy.
So, needless to say, I can't stand him. But the great thing is I don't have to DM for him. So,
well, nobody does because they don't exist anymore. Really.
That's the thing, Naz. I didn't have to DM for him. Mark was DMing for that. I wasn't. Yes, 2 frickin' archers. Oh. So, and let me get Alan out of the way, okay? And the other one that really just drives me insane, and I don't know why, but I think I do. It's just his character Jeddah Noonian Singh, ripped off from Khan Noonian Singh. Okay, here's the concept in this group. This guy shows up. He claims to be from the future, okay, but it's our future, not Greyhawk's future, right? So he's talking about televisions. He's talking about, yeah, we have these things flying in the air. I was like, oh my god, dude. He's like bald, and he's like a workout freak, right? So he goes to Planet Fitness kind of guy, right? One of those lunkheads, and it drives me insane. But I guess he does it very well. But that character drives me crazy.
Alan knows how to really evolve a character. I mean, Alan, honestly, in my opinion, is one of our best role players that we actually have. I honestly was surprised you didn't have on the list. You didn't have Zag.
I don't mind Zag as Naz is very good at imitating Alan when we're doing a Saturday Night Special, and he does I don't mind perfectly. He does it perfectly the way Alan does it. So Jeddah is the one that drives me crazy. But I just had to bring that one up, get some player characters out of the way there.
Yep.
But no, I don't mind Zag at all. My God, listen to me saying that.
Yeah.
So I got all the character sheets. All right, guys, here's all the character sheets. Everyone's color coded. I mean, look, there's the NPC one, Tom's, Alan's, Mark's. Everyone's got their own folder.
So and you'll always notice mine's a little bit thinner than everybody else's.
Not as thin as Tom's. So, yeah, Jeddah Noonian Singh. That's a great one. But he dual class. He's the thief acrobat. He dual class the mage.
Yep.
So Alan's the king of dual classing humans too. He knows how to work the rules on that. So if anyone out in the audience wants to bring up someone, that's great. But let's go to a canon one. How's that sound?
Sure. Who do you want?
Marquesa. We'll get Marquesa. Yep. So Marquesa, Carlos Lysing's favorite antithesis to use. Yes. Well, listen, Luca. If you, I know you live in the Netherlands, but if you're going to be in Greyhawk, listen to me in Greyhawk at Gen Con, you'll see me with Wastri a little bit. I love Wastri. Wastri's a deity, but a deity on the plane on Greyhawk in the Hool Marshes. So that's a good one. Wastri is the hammer of demi-humans, which is kind of cool when you think about it, that they instantly slay dwarves, gnomes, and halflings. Can't stand them, right? Humanoids can serve Wastri, but mostly it's human perfection, and human perfection him is turning humans into like frogs and toads, half toads, So bullywugs are, it's kind of disturbing. I love Wastri. People would love to hate them. That would be me. I love using Wastri against the party. I've developed some custom spells for Wastri. Hey, Jeff, great stream for last night too. Everyone, Jacob Jansen's on. He just started streaming. I had a big stream last night, and he had two 3D printers going at the same time, showing it to everyone. That was cool. Yeah. So, that was really a neat thing. So hopefully he'll be successful with that. And Jeff's been a great supporter of ours and plays a Mark's game. So, yeah, absolutely. Wastri's a good one. And Lashley's more of an annoyance in Greyhawk. Lashley's not like an Eaz or a Role antithesis would be. Lashley's one of those, you got to deal with it, you know. It's cultish, you know. It's a more of that's how I would put it. But then again, that could be really nasty too, especially if you're a halfling.
Yep.
Yep, absolutely. That was a good one. Thank you. Let me scan through here. All right, oh, there's the one we got to talk about too. Oh, there's another one. Oh, I got. All right, there's Marquesa the Black. So Marquesa, everyone knows this is a slave lord. Gray elf, attractive, and is Marquesa. Taco, you got to spell it Markessa, right? Not
Yep.
Quessa like in absolutely. Well, look, I have a going back to Washi real quick. I have a adventure module I'm jointly running with Carlos Lacing at Gen Con. Taco Turtle's in the adventure. He signed up. He was the 6th and final sign up, called Horror in the Hools. And that, okay, hint, foreshadowing. And it's adventure written by me, half, and other half by Carlos. So you're gonna see some fun stuff in the Hool Marshes. Yes, Taco, absolutely. Marquesa has many different versions of herself. She is evil. One of the the most evil character you've ever come across.
Oh, easily.
That's Elven, not Dark Elf. I'm talking about, yeah, hideously evil. What's up, Fraley? Good to see you, man. She is as bad as it comes. She experiments on people. She does Mengalist. I lost Mark. You there still, Mark? I lost Mark. So hopefully Mark will hop back on. I'll keep on going. She is just awful. The things she does, changes people, personality, creates all sorts of awful mongrel men. Just enslaves people. Just has no care about it. She's as evil as it comes. And Carlos has really run. Carlos Lysing, my good friend, has really run with the Marquesa. Even done 3 modules. Anna Meyer, who's on, she was in the 3rd and final one at. Yeah, we lost Marco. So hopefully I'll hop back on. But Anna was in the 3rd and final Marquesa that Carlos did at GaryCon. I used her. A new Marquesa the Silver, because she has had the Marquesa the Black. These are people she's actually brainwashed to think that they're Marquesa, and she's kind of changed their faces to make them kind of look like her. Marquesa the Black, Marquesa the Gold, Marquesa the Red. Marquesa the Green has actually changed and remembers who she is. That's right out of the Slavers reference. And so I created a Marquesa the Silver that the group went up against at the end of our last major Greyhawk-based event in the Pomarge Defense of the Watchers Towers. So let me see if I thought I had Slavers up here. There it is. There's a Slaver reference. Let me text him real quick. He may be, Mark lives in Ohio, so who knows what's going on there. Yeah. So as far as really a canon published source, awful. Love to hate. I love using her because you can create as many copies of her as you want, because she's always making them, and their base is in Kidland Lakos. There you go. That was really you just dropped off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we didn't lose broadcast at all.
No.
So yeah. But they got some revenge on Marquesa the Silver. They killed her, along with a bunch of other characters, which let's discuss them next. The Dark Brotherhood has been around in my campaign since the early 80s, since that module in Dungeon 9 came out, Crypts of Astaris, where I really modified, used for that. Let me get through here. Okay, here's a group. So you have the Bee, you have Marquesa the Silver, you have Sir Twix, Leo McMichael, another major antithesis in the campaign, all in this picture. all just raring to go. Talk about, yes, she's in the Slavers, absolutely. She's one of the original Slavers, Taco, from the A series. She shows up in A2 or A3, Mark. I think it's A3.
Is what I want to say.
And then they run with her.
Yeah.
They run with her hardcore in the Slavers reference, which is great. Yeah, okay, it's A2.
Oh, it's A2.
Yes, a great, great developed published source character. Talk about Leo McMichael.
Okay, so Leo McMichael was, or I should say is, he's an actual real person that Jay named a character after. And I believe he's like disappeared off the face of the map as well.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. At any rate, this is when archers were first starting to take hold inside of the campaign. In our campaign, the one out of the Best of Dragon 3. And so Jay had started Leo. He is a Sylvan Elf as well, or
I think he's High Elf. I think
High Elf. Yeah, he was an archer that was chaotic neutral.
Archer Thief.
Archer Thief, yes.
Multi-class.
Archer Thief that was chaotic neutral. And Jay had brought him in specifically to be an antagonist to a bunch of the other players that I had brought in, guys that I went to school with, who were there on a regular basis. Now, I was not there when it actually happened, but I've heard the story enough to know the basic gist of it. So effectively what happened was Jay got sick and tired of the bickering and all the nonsense that some of those players were doing. And this was during the middle of Temple of Elemental Evil. And he decided to have Leo, since he was chaotic neutral anyway, literally side with the other group. And so in the midst of a fight, he actually turned his back on everybody and started peppering everybody with arrows. And literally did so much damage to everybody that it really pissed off some of those guys that's all that they would think of is how in the world could they get rid of Leo?
Especially Tim.
Yes.
He was there. So everyone understands our play style is really radically different. Well, I won't say radically, but it's the way we play, and we've been playing for almost 40 years. Mark and myself put NPCs right in the adventuring groups, and we've been doing that forever. And that's just the way we play with them in adventure style 1E, 2E tabletop. So I have PC and PCs right in the groups. So does Mark. And he was one of those, and this is probably the only time I've had this happen. I had an NPC turn on the group right during a fight. So it was fun. But he got away. He joined the Dark Brotherhood, and he was a thorn in their side for years afterwards. Now, supposedly he's dead, and you guys killed him off as well at the end of our major event we finished a couple weeks ago.
Or at least a clone of him was dead, or a simulacrum of him was dead. You know, you can never be too sure with Jay.
Look, I don't know, because I'll tell you this: we thanks, Grendel. Look, we don't use a lot of the Wolf Nomads and stuff up there, so I would say not in our campaign, but maybe in someone else's. Mika from Master Wolf. We don't do a lot in the Wolf Nomads. Mm-hmm. So our area is the Sheldamar Valley. So Principality Ulick, Keeland, Greyhawk, that area, Wild Coast, some Furyundi, some Vespi Forest. That's our area of play for the most part in our campaign. All right, so yeah, it's simple. It's slavers. That's it. That is, and it's there. That's it up right now. Okay. Great reference. I don't know if I have it here with me up. I think it's down in the basement. And of course, the cover's always falling off on that one. So another one for conversion. We're going to do that. I'm going to do a couple of these real quick. This is called the Tomb of the Abastor, Sword and Sorcery, our 3rd edition one. Yep. Great dungeon crawl. It took us a while to get through this. The group that's the Reborn actually did this adventure. I highly recommend it. So, and it says restore an abandoned tomb, explore ancient burial halls. Pretty cool one. It's been, I don't know, 20, 25 years since we've done this one. But it just came to me. I was looking through some of the old stuff, and I was like, this is another good one I would recommend. Probably can get it cheap online, too, for conversion. And it's got a lot of neat magic items. The Star of Terror's in this. One of Bill's main characters uses that weapon to this day. It creates the look of grievous wounds on someone when it hits, and I think it's a footman's mace. It's either a footman's mace or a morning star. It may be a morning star. Yeah, Star of Terror, of course, it's a morning star. So another one I recommend, Tube and Abyss, for if you want to get your hands on another great one that we ran that I recommend. Could probably be up converted to 5, back converted to 1E2E. So, yes. Is there Rocks? Is there a new one called Slavers, or it's a soft cover, but it's it's a book. It's a booklet. Absolutely. Okay, Mark, go for it. Who do you want to discuss?
Oh, so how about we discuss? Should we take the fun away from Tim about the Wayne characters, or should we just go for it?
Let's wait on them. What do you think?
So why don't we go to one of the PC ones?
Okay.
So I'll start this one off, and I'll let Jay fill in the blanks here.
Rocks.
So to let everybody know, kind of an old story. So what I consider my greatest character in the entire campaign was a half-elf fighter cleric mage named Swain Markham, and he was it was during the time periods when we started all doing chaotic stupids, or chaotic neutrals as we call them. And effectively, this was during the time period when Jay decided to utilize the Dragonlance series. It just started. He incorporated the first 3 modules and was just absolutely hated it, and ended up yanking everybody back.
Oh God, I hated it.
Now, I got to read the books and fell absolutely in love with the storyline of the books. The first trilogy, as well as the second trilogy, the Twins trilogy. And so ended up in the actual modules, him falling for Lorana versus Tanis, who is the.
I hate Tanis. I can't stand. I can't stand that character. But that's okay. Not our world.
Anyway,
so
to make a long story short, I kept needling Jay about Swain wanting to go back to Kryn and bring Lorana forward, and he was like, no, absolutely not, no. And at one point, somehow or another, Swain got a wish. And I think Jay finally relented. He just got sick and tired of hearing it from me. And so the wish that he actually used was there's a magic item inside of Unearthed Arcana, which is called a Rod of Passage. It's banned now. But what he wished for, and Jay allowed it, was that it had enough charges in it that he could actually travel to Kryn and bring Lorana back. Now, he ended up bringing Lorana back. They got married and they had children. And one of the children was named after one of the Kryn characters, her brother Gilthanas.
This sounds very disturbing to people that are watching now, but this is just the way it was. It's actually comical. It's so funny.
At any rate, at that point in time, I was kind of in and out of the campaign an awful lot, and we got to the point where they were old enough. Both of Swain's children and Lorana's children were old enough to start being played as characters. So I had rolled them up, and his oldest was a daughter named Alicia, who took after her father, was a fighter cleric mage, and Gilthanas. And Gilthanas was one of those troubled kind of children that didn't know what he wanted to do with his life and so forth. And at that point in time, I had detached myself away from the campaign just because of just proximity. And Jay decided to turn him into one of the most
there he is
hated characters on within our campaign. Very arrogant, kind of an ass.
All right, so let me take it from there. So,
sure.
Lorana, Swain and Lorana had three children. One was Gilthanas, and the second was Alicia Markham. I took them both over as NPCs. Mark asked me to. Alicia was like her father, Fighter Clerk Mage, and she's very good aligned, and she's like one of those great utility NPC characters. I use her to this day, in groups, and mostly in a group called not the Harby Irregulars, the Night Stalkers in the city of Altamira. And Gilthanas, you've seen the pictures of the big tower. The big tower with the fletchings, that's Swain's tower. It's in smack dab in the middle of Altamira. Gilthanas, okay, there's a bad picture of Gilthanas lying dead. Now, that's before we had the real nice tower outside the tower. And there's his sister, unpainted, mostly unpainted, lying next to him, standing there over top his body. Gilthanas is the kind of guy that you bump into at the gym, and if you accidentally were to bump into you, he'd be like the complete, hey, what's wrong with you? That kind of guy, right? Always is asking people to kiss his guns, right? I mean, seriously, he annoys the shit out of everyone. He's a character neutral, doesn't care. Brought up because Swain and Lorana both got killed Swain many times. So he had no parents. He was brought up in the tower, but Castellan ran, one of those ran wild. So he's a character neutral, and just is a jerk, and everyone can't stand him. And I play him perfectly. He's a duelist. If you know the Dragon Magazine duelist class, and we use that as a player character class, they got some cool abilities: parrying the death blow, using weapons in both hands with limited penalty. They got a lot of cool abilities, and he's
basically like the opposite guy of Inigo Montoya.
Yeah,
a very annoying Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And so he is always just, the party hates him. He charges into fights like a cavalier, even though he's a duelist. Does things, so non-PC, says some awful things. Yeah, he's a jerk. And he was the most hated character in the campaign until everyone's there he is. All right. Also, Bill painted this character, and you can't see it on this figure. There he is. He's showing the chest to show, and he's got the arms. It's a perfect figure, right? Weapons in each hand. He's got a tattoo on each arm, and one of them is dad. It says dad, and it's a splat, which is, Swain was always blowing up, and into a big, just fine red mist. And the other tattoo on his other arm has mom, and it's all green splattered because she got killed by a green slime. So that was Bill's ball bust on the Gilthanas. He put it right on the figure. You can't see it in the pictures though. So, oh no, yes. See, look, Inigo Montoya, Mandy Patinkin. Yes, it's a great sword fight with him and Carrie Elwes. So, so Gilthanas, until MB Michael Baton came along, was top of the list on hated, by far. Wasn't even close.
Yep.
But we're gonna wait for Michael to the end of the show. Michael and Fritz will be the last two. We do it tonight. So I love playing him because sometimes he can show maybe a little sliver of compassion here or there, or wisdom, a little bit here and there. His sister can't stand him. I have another NPC, Carrie Dees, who was the Castellan of the tower, and Gilthanas just was awful to her. She left. She's a swashbuckler. So there's a lot of bad blood even between NPCs there. But Dixel, we're hating it. We're talking about characters we hate tonight. We're talking about Gilthanas Markham, one of Mark's main NPCs in the campaign's son. Yep. You'll see him soon. I mean, we'll do an adventure with the Night Stalkers. It's a high-level group in Altamira in the near future, and you'll see Gilthanas.
And the funny part is I think what they hate the most is he's one of those types that no matter what happens, he always comes out on top, or almost always comes out on top.
It's kind of like me in real life.
Yeah.
Because what do you always say about me?
Yeah. Jay, absolutely, he steps in shit and he comes smelling out like a rose. You know, no matter what, it doesn't make a difference what it is.
Yes, Will. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, it's one thing. Did anyone read Night of the Rose? Okay, it's a Ravenloft book. Soth, everyone loves Soth, right?
Yep.
Soth is there, and for some stupid reason, Tanis is there, right? What does Tanis do? What's he do, Mark?
You know what? I never read that one.
He turns around and runs. And I was like, you little, fight him. Don't run, fight him. And he runs away. I'm like, oh, he runs. So that was it. I hate him. Can't stand the character. Yes. Tanis runs away. Night of the Rose. It's a Ravenloft book about Soth. Yes. And just poof.
Yep.
But not in the Greyhawk world. And, everything's in Ravenloft. So which is okay, kind of cool. But Azalin, okay. Trivia question. You know it, Mark. Azalin the Lich in Ravenloft. What module does he appear in first? Let's see if they know. Well, Piglet, Long Soth was, because he wasn't in my world, the books were cool, and he kind of was like, I don't give a shit attitude, but when he wasn't undead, when he was fallen, he was a jerk. So, absolutely. Well, Azalin the Lich has a small part in the module Ravenloft 2, okay, which is one of the rarest old school modules you can have. Has nothing to do with Ravenloft 1. The original Ravenloft is one of the best of all time, but it's on my Wall of Fame as well. It's one of the toughest modules ever had to DM. But that's where Azalin the Lich comes from, is Ravenloft 2. So if you can find that, it's a great cover. Great looking cover. So, what's Ravenloft? R1? Whatever one, Ravenloft 2 is
wasn't R series. It was
whatever.
Part of the I series.
Is it I? Okay. Thanks, Sprocket.
Part of the I series.
Yeah. So Ravenloft 2. I think it's called The House on Griffin Hill, and I may be able to splash it here. So, but that's another one. Azalin was out of that whole realm, but he comes from another module. So let me see. So if I can find it real quick here, I go under modules here. I may have it. Module covers.
So while you're going through that, just for kind of filler. So we actually started playing. Jeff was nice enough to lend me. He had the actual board game of Castle Ravenloft, which is really cool.
I-10 Taco. You're correct.
Yeah. If you like board games of any kind, this has a nice D&D twist on it. I mean, it is a D&D game, but pretty slick if you like doing that.
Yeah. So there it is. I ran that one time. It is very difficult to run. There's a reason for it. It has nothing to do with the original Ravenloft, which is bizarre. But like I said, if you find that in shrink wrap condition, that's worth like $200. That module. That's a very expensive module because it's a rare one. But I think it went from I-5 to I-10. Ravenloft was I-5. Was that Ravenloft 2 was I can't remember. Once again, but it's let me. I got everything on this.
Dealing with old guys. Sorry, we just don't remember.
Yeah. Us 50-year-old guys here. Let me check this real quick. Module covers.
Yeah. Sprocket's saying it's I-6.
I-6. Okay. Okay. Cool. So both great modules in their own right, and both completely. One has nothing to do with the other. Not a thing. Ravenloft 2 has this thing called the Machine. It's kind of like a Jekyll and Hyde vampire. It cuts the guy in half, splits him in half. It has nothing to do with the original Ravenloft. So it's cool. So that's it. I know we got off on a tangent. That's what we do on this show. We talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So, great one. So, but look at that. We went from Gilthinus all the way to Lord Soth and Ravenloft, which is cool. It always
comes back to Dragonlance.
Always comes back to Dragonlance.
You need to embrace it.
All right, I found this. Okay, this is going to show you. This is the Order of York campaign adventures. Battle Royale, one of Mark's favorites of all time.
Yep.
It was number 18, and now we're at 500 and 856. Then 19, Dragons of Despair DL1, Dragons of Flame DL2, Dragons of Hope DL3, and then I realized that I am not that much of a torturer. I don't want to torture myself anymore. Why am I doing this? Back to, so there it is. Yep.
But I will tell you, the interesting thing is that Jay challenged me about actually running a Dragonlance campaign, but there's a lot. There's an awful lot to do it. The story, I love the stories behind it, but to truly run a Dragonlance campaign takes a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to keep track of.
By the way, if you guys want Dragonlance torture, every other Monday night, Mark has Draconians in his Shieldlands now. So.
No, an hour.
An hour, and you're an hour Shieldlands when you're running them. You didn't see any in the last two weeks of adventures we did in the Shieldlands. So you saw a lot of other crazy people. Like you saw a half lich and vampires and stuff named after old girls that we knew, that kind of thing. So yeah, I know that was a blast. So I'm looking at a heads up on Tim. He said sometime after 8:30 he'd hop on, which is great. Okay, let's talk about something that Tim wasn't here for. We're going to Bill. Yeah, yes, Gitano. They magically disappear if I'm DMing. So the most powerful mercenary adventuring group we have in the campaign is the Iron Brigade in Greyhawk, and in fact they were the first ones we had done. There are two characters on this list that are in that group. We'll talk about Bill's first. Salen Shadowmoon. Now, this character is interesting. He's Cleric Necromancer. Now remember, we have our own Necromancer class in our campaign as well. Half elf. Came. And he had a great idea when he started off. He got involved in the Gravediggers and the Embalmers Guild in Greyhawk. So Selzik Gobayuk, the half-orc who was always said, "Didn't I stuff your uncle last week?" That guy. Salen kissed his ass and has risen to assistant guildmaster of the Gravediggers and Embalmers Guild. This is the character in the group that is afraid of his own shadow. Yes, you like that? Salen Shadowmoon.
Will was calling him Sailor Moon.
Yeah. Salen Shadowmoon. This is a great story. I wish that we were streaming, but this was like 8 years ago, roughly. We're on an adventure during our Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue stint, the first one. Salen, this sounds like, I just find a ring gleaming in the dirt, right? Finds an area in a cave, sandy, but there's a little bit of a pool of water. Sees something glimmering, pulls out this crown. He's like, wow, this is really great. This is nice. Turns out the name of this is the Crown of Ruggiero Bloodmoon. Does some research, finds out Ruggiero Bloodmoon is kind of like Tulsa Doom was in the original Conan. It was this megalomaniac, controlled people through charm and persuasion, could get people just to instantly kill themselves. He would enslave the whole area of the Cairn Hills. This is the story I had. He's found this guy's crown. He doesn't want to have anything to do with this crown. This is how my arcs go. This arc goes 20 years, guys. Gets Walt's character, Alphonse D'Amato, okay, another original name, who's second in charge of the Night Watchman in Greyhawk City, to store it away. And it's like, I don't want to touch it. Finds out that there's all sorts of evil people that have foretold that you are going to become Ruggiero Bloodmoon, and we're here for you, to support you. I'm doing this over 10 years of campaigns. Like, they're on an adventure. Some person at a bar looks at him and goes, I'm here for you. Right? I did this for like years. So the adventure was called Salen Made Me Do It. The time comes, these people get a hold of this crown, they put it on him, he turns into this megalomaniac. He has, over the course of time, and now Bill did this, not me, okay? Remember, Bill did this. Alan's character Milana got multiple limbs cut off like 4 times. He would sneak a piece of her. Like her arm would get cut off, he'd take a piece of the arm, or like she'd lose a finger, he took the finger. He had Milana at 4th level. He had Milana at 6th level, 8th level, and 9th level. When he became this evil megalomaniac, he cloned all those pieces. Okay, this is great. He has a Milana 4th, 6th, 8th, and 9th now at his beckoning. Right? He also cloned one of Mark's characters, Railstone Gradavis. He had a piece of him too. He also brought Swain back, Mark's character Swain Markham back from the dead. He had him too. He has this army of all these characters at his disposal. So the picture of that picture there, Gilthanus, the evil Swain, knocked his own son off the top of the tower, killed him, splatted him. Take that, chicken lips, knocked him off. So there's all sorts of stuff. This is going on in my old house. This is going on. It's got to be pre-2010. I'm thinking 2008, 7.
Oh yeah,
around that time.
He made a special trip back specifically for this adventure.
Yeah, he didn't sew them together. He cloned them all. He was a necromancer. So here's the adventure. Here's them going into the Cairn Hills. There's the next picture. The group, the Iron Brigade. Off in the distance, there's a ziggurat, and there's a. So he's drawing his Tulsa Doom people to him, just like in the movie, right? People from all over are coming because Rogero Bloodmoon's back. Here's the fight. There he is on top of the ziggurat. All his beholders he has, they've killed all his followers at the base. I don't have any more pictures, unfortunately. That's in the old house. Those are the pictures of the fight I have. It was a momentous fight. Lots of carnage. It was a story arc I started. It was a 20 to 25 year story arc. And it finished. Rogero Bloodmoon wanted to take over all the Cairn Hills, wanted to take over the whole Greyhawk City, but the Iron Brigade stopped them. They kill Salen. They get the crown off of him. They hide the crown somewhere. No one knows where it is. Salen's back to being Salen again. No one trusts Salen now, but he's back in. He's back as his normal cowardly.
Entirely true.
Yes. It goes to the second character in the Iron Brigade we want to talk about. She's been around. And it's Mark's player character, Alhana Sylvanost.
Yep.
Go for it, Mark. Talk about Alhana.
So, very similar.
There she is. Old figure.
Yep. Very similar to a degree of what Jay did with Leo, but not quite that extreme. I was getting very miffed at the players themselves because they were just constantly arguing. And the thought came to me about taking Alhana, who was at the time was one of the more comely looking females in the campaign. She's been since obviously isn't even close to some of the others. But the idea of Basic Instinct came to mind. And I took Alhana, and she became a real vamp. Now, at the time, she, and still is, she's a mage thief. And I want to say it's from The Secret of Bone Hill that she ended up with a girdle of ogre strength, which is just like having the gauntlets.
Leonard Lakofka.
Yep. And she started becoming more and more of the great unknown. And she is the only character that I have ever played that has gone from neutral over to evil. And happened gradually. Is an absolutely great character. I had a lot, and still do, have an awful lot of fun playing her. She has, on many occasions, she's very sultry, and just the type you see in the movies and stuff, like and I can never remember her name, but if you ever watch the movie Roadhouse, and you see the one blonde that's there, that's just kind of sitting there and looking over Patrick Swayze, and almost like nibbling on her thumb and just looking him up and down. That's exactly how she is. And she doesn't care about how many men it is that she actually corrupts, but that is her sole purpose, to the degree that she actually worships Loki.
I have her as chaotic evil.
I'm sorry?
I have her as almost chaotic evil in the campaign.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It eventually got to the point where this character ended up taking out a family member of some of the characters that you're going to hear about that are here, and literally had chopped him up, took each body part, buried it in completely diverse areas all over Orth, wherever it is that she could reach. Now, this person, the true person, his name was Wayne, had a girlfriend named Jackie, and as a joke, Jay had decided to introduce a ring that had an inscription on the inside of it that just said "To Jackie from Wayne." And the funny part is Alhana actually had it, and when she buried his left hand, put that ring on his finger, on his wedding finger, and buried it. If that's poetic justice for you.
I tend to like ball busting people in real life in my games. All right. So just the way it goes. God, Mark, I'm sorry.
Now, it's okay. So fast forward to the Crown adventure. Salem made me do it.
Yep.
So Alhana I don't know why she thought that she would be able to get away with it, but she went up to try to engage Salem, and he cast a spell on her that is a very, very nasty necromancer spell called Flesh Shiver. Basically, what it does is it literally shakes each limb, including your neck, to a certain degree where it can completely break. And she is so demented sexually that when she got flesh shivered and her neck didn't get broken, but she was completely immobilized. She got so turned on by it that after it was all said and done, she decided that she wanted to be with Salem.
Yeah, that's so bizarre. So here's what Flesh Shiver does. If you don't know, it's a 5th level necromancer spell. You have to make 5 con saves. Right arm, if you fail, first roll breaks. Left arm breaks, second roll. Third roll, right leg, 4th roll, left leg. Neck, 5th roll. Yeah, it's a nasty spell. It's 5th level. It's necromancer, but she got all excited that that is as disturbing as it gets. So Salem, yes, she's killed. You forgot about the Foxwoman story.
Oh yeah, I hadn't even gotten to that part.
This is why she's hated and people scare her. I had a Dreadwood series of adventures. They come across a foxwoman in a remote hut, and foxwomen usually kidnap or take little girls to become foxwomen.
Female elves only.
Female elves only to become foxwomen down the road. So they infect them with lycanthropy early, and there's nothing you can do about it. So they found this foxwoman, and she had this elven girl, and they rescued the girl. And they're in the group and walking, and she's right in smack dab in the middle of the group, and just like normal, thieves are in the back row. So Alhana's behind. Go.
Okay, so hold on one second. So actually, Alhana got bit by the foxwoman.
Yes, she did.
So she knew that she was infected with the lycanthropy, and she ended up getting whatever it was, either cure disease, remove curse, or something to that degree. But she understood and could see that this young girl was going to be a foxwoman. Go ahead.
All of a sudden, I just make this sound like, Mom! And all they see is this. Alhana she fights two-fisted, backstabbed the little girl, right through, critical hit, the girl's dead. The party is aghast, right? Go ahead. What'd she say?
Yeah, they were all bent out of shape out of her. And she said, look, she was going to be a foxwoman. We had to kill her. There's no need to keep her around. I saw probably the most surprised faces on all of our players that day. That was in Blackwood, actually.
Yes, it was in the house in Blackwood. Yes,
it was absolutely fantastic. Just one of those events that you just never forget.
I don't forget it. And that was the one that really tainted her from a CN to a CE close. Yeah. She's done, but she adventures in the Iron Brigade, which is a lot of lawful goods and a lot of other, because she still has that CN detection on her, and they know she's useful in the group. And Mark needs 2 PCs, so here's Railstone and Alhana for that level. And she doesn't do anything against the group ever. She'll corrupt the guys. She'll attempt to, but she doesn't do it. Which she works toward the group's benefit.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a very, very fun character, and in fact, she was also played as an NPC for a while as Queen Alhana
Yes, I played
at
her.
the Antithesis.
Yes. I used her a little bit when Mark was had moved to Ohio, and before we figured out that you could FaceTime people in on that stupid iPads, and it would disconnect 20 times a night. And that was like our early days before streaming. Like, oh, Mark's connected, up disconnected, literally 40, 50 times a night. He would disconnect on that FaceTime thing. But so that's two characters in a major group, Salen, that are really universally not universally despised, but not trusted,
Well,
hated,
or feared.
feared as a good word. Alan's character, Alan fears both of them. All Alan's characters fear all of them. And it's
Kroger doesn't. Kroger actually gets along with Ohana a lot.
he does, but Alan. The ever mysterious Tim, ladies and gentlemen.
My apologies.
It's okay.
I was busy doing something more important.
Yes, he was. We won't go into that. So, Tim, announcement number 1. Your head is now a tier 1 subscription. So, Tim,
My apologies to everyone.
Tim loves a good critical. It's called. So now, whenever a crit's rolled, now everyone can spam it just like they do Jay's fumblehead. So there you go. We're talking. We saved all yours for your discussion, except we talked Leo McMichael already. We talked.
I hate that guy.
We talked Liston too.
Yeah, Leo McMichael's especially hated.
Yes, absolutely. Because you were there when he turned on the party.
Oh yeah, I really took it personally, I think.
Yes, you did. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, now that Tim's here, he asked me a question, and I want to jump right into this. Why is this character on the list?
I had no idea why.
Fensick. I put on the list. Now, Anna knows Fensick. Anna Meyer ventured with Fensick on our fundraiser against our Miracle the Chaotic, who's on our list as well, at the end of the mega stream. And Fensick is now like a 15th level mage. But everyone forgets.
16th.
Yeah, you went up. There's a Miracle the Chaotic right after that you guys defeated in that fight.
He's scary.
Yes, but here's the question. Why is he on the list? Yes, yeah. Absolutely, Anna. Because and Fensick was trying to make time with Mariel too, which is great. Even though, like, you know, it's your
I was
dad.
what?
Fensick wanted to make time with Mariel, even though your dad's character Abdul and Mariel kind of a thing.
Oh,
which is
just
really funny.
just to have fun and be in the mix a little bit.
Absolutely, which is awesome. Everyone forgets the early days of Fensick. He was afraid of his own shadow. He was character neutral. He changed his alignment since then.
He grew wiser and he joined the good side because he was like, this decadent, total chaotic lifestyle was detrimental to his health.
But back in the day, what a pink stick, right? Come on, Mark. You know I'm correct on this.
I'm not arguing with
you.
Hey, yeah, that's true. But do you hate him because of it?
Well, I loved to hate him.
Constitution.
Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. I love to hate him because of the stuff you did. Everyone knows what a Ring of Regeneration does in the campaign, right? Everyone out in the audience? Okay. This is what he did so that he could never even have his hand cut off, all right, and lose it. Well, I guess the whole hand would have to come off, or a finger or whatever. He took the flesh around the ring finger and dug it out and then put...
Just the skin.
And put the ring in that area around the bone and let it grow over top of it so that it would be underneath his skin so he couldn't lose his Ring of Regeneration. This is the kind of stuff I had to deal with back in those days.
Hey, a pesty pickpocketing thief could slip it off your finger. I couldn't risk that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me refer back to my...
Taco's like, oh my God. So this is, yes. This character goes back to the 80s. It was... My character's Hawk and Gazumba. in Lord Gazumba channel. That's where Gazumba comes from. Fensick and Leuven, which that's where, and 3 of those 4 actually were on that adventure with Anna. I didn't play Gazumba, but I did play Hawk. Hawk got killed on that too. Remember, he always gets killed. So I used Fensick from back to a Metal Gauntlet though. Taco was a straight mage, so this is the paranoia I had to deal with back in the day.
Well, I mean, if you consider mages and getting powerful, they are turned into liches. I think this is pretty minor compared to that.
I got another one. Ready? Here's his prep spells: Stone Skin, Contingency, Stone Skin. Amongst other defensive stuff.
Melee, man. What do you expect?
And that's why he had. I figured early Fensick deserves a spot honorarily on the list.
And he was chaotic neutral, and he definitely earned a little bit of.
Yes, he was such a self-preservationist in the day that he actually made Hawk and Gazumba laugh about it. And so,
but he did save a lot of people.
He did save a lot of us at the end of the Wizard of Id. Oh, I think it was Leuven actually saved us in that. The Dispel Magic. Who did this? Was it Fensick or Leuven that did this?
Fensick had like the 5% Dispel Magic, and
and stopped the fireball.
Everyone rushed him, and then he died. And then he got blown up in a fireball.
Yep.
Burned up all scrolls.
I had to bring that character up just because Tim had emailed me back when I sent the list of notes out. He goes, "Why is Fensick on this list?" I was like, "Because your memories will come back, and then you'll understand why." and there was a lot of other stuff too.
I never thought he was as irritating as some of the NPCs, though.
As like who?
Fritz Winchester.
Well, we haven't even gotten to Fritz yet. Fritz and Michael are for the end of the show. They're the coup de grace guys for the end of the show. Gilthinus Markham has already been discussed. I know you weren't around him that much. That is almost the top. But we're going to talk about some canon ones too. And I wanted to bring up some other modules. Chaos Rising. If you want to fight Dweeblix at the end of a module done by Necromancer Games Sword and Sorcery, this one's a great one. It's long. Another good one. Find it. It's probably not that expensive. Easily convertible, I believe. A Battle Throughout Time. Another one we ran back in the day. So, another one that's cool. All right. So, let's go to some canon ones here we missed that we're waiting on Tim. What do you think, Tim? You got one like out of published sources that you really, really can't stand?
I've said it before.
Yeah, go for it.
And I'm going to say it again.
Go ahead.
Nuala, I think, and Ravager of Time.
Okay, absolutely. I was going to a Miracle of the Chaotic, but both of them. All right, so Ravager of Time is a UK module. It's on our Wall of Fame. She's as evil as Marquesa. Close, right? What do you think?
She is stealing people's years just to make herself live longer. But the rate, she's got to steal decades from you to get a couple months or an hour. I don't remember what the rate is, but it's which is horrible in and of itself. But then she's also just the levels of horror at doing the aging effect of, okay, my character's going to die in you're only a week or two away from your death age, and then you have all this geriatric issues that occur, and now you have to fight your clones or whatever they were, and her. It was so horrendous. It's
a UK series module. It is really nasty. I don't have it. I believe it or not, I don't have it in my. Oh, there it is. Here it is. There it is. I8. Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, there's a picture of Nuala. It's on our Wall of Fame. Nuala is very evil. The whole party. Hey, how are you? That denim sock seam. I know I can't stand that either, man. I can never figure out if I got my socks on the right way too. So Nuala is really there. You go. Oh, you got it in shrink wrap. You have it in shrink. Awesome.
Just a plastic bag.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. She is nasty. She wears +5 scale mail too, which is kind of bizarre.
Yep.
And she is she takes everyone's age. You end up so you know how on our sheets you have your death. Say your death is like 100 for a human. You were at 99 and 11 months. That's how they mentioned you had 1 month to live. She
And you
still,
have all
yeah,
sorts of physical ailments, and they do the age of it is so hard. And in that weakened
yep,
state, you
yep,
have to fight a young, healthy version of yourself.
a clone, yep. And we had Murdoch and we had Swain
Yep.
and that group. I had Elijah Winchester the third. I think it's Charisse. I think that's who we had.
Actually, if I remember correctly, didn't Murdoch end up with a new personality from that?
Yes, I was going to say that, Mark. Great memory. Anorix the Aged, I believe.
Yes. From that, yeah, absolutely.
Let me tell you something, sonny boy.
So, yeah, Tim's character, Murdoch the Mighty, named Murdoch after the A-Team Murdoch, obviously, right? Has, 15 different personalities.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if it's 12. It's not as easy to roll in the dice as it used to be now, but yeah, he's got a lot of personalities.
Yeah, it was all, man. No matter what, you were 1 month away from your death in that adventure. Good one.
Fantastic adventure.
And it scarred me because I keep bringing it up. Whenever we do the most baddest whatever, it always comes to my mind first.
Which is great that you have such high regard. You gotta appreciate that.
And or scarred.
Absolutely, that's okay, man. Absolutely okay. A good one. I didn't even put her down on the note list. See, I knew I'd missed some, so that's a great one, definitely. I know you hated Miracle the Chaotic too. You've used him as much. Was he as difficult? I know we had during the fundraiser. I had a limited amount of time. But hopefully it really was worrisome to you when you fought him that night.
You saw how Fencing armored up on all his protections. So yes, he was concerned. And the fact that he's a wild mage makes me hate him all the more. So
yeah, Gitano, almost every module is the one where I scared him. So
nice.
Or Carlos. Carlos is
Carlos, I just go ahead and just resign myself to my fate.
Wu-Tang, he actually has stats, okay? He does, and I would be more than happy to share them with you. It is out of the Paladin, I believe, Wu-Tang, Paladin in Hell, that second edition one where they take the picture of the Paladin fighting all the devils and they turn that into a whole module. You have to go to a Miracles, the Chaotic's base of operations on its own demiplane. You have to sneak in and you have to get something out of it. So and he's a wild mage, Wu-Tang. He's not a straight mage, he's a wild mage. So
hence my hatred.
Yes, I will be more than happy to share that with you because I pulled that off for when we did the end of our fundraiser. And yes, I'd be more than happy to get that to you. Whisper me an email address and I'll get that information to you. Okay? We're more than happy to do that. So they fought a Miracle the Chaotic in the end. He had the Orb of Dragonkind. And it was a great fight. And it's probably not up now on our Twitch, but it's up on our YouTube mirror, Lord Space Gazumba. And you can watch Anna play in that. All of us that are here, Tim's dad, we brought out all the old school characters from the Order of Ulick, the Iron Brigade, and canon people like Anna played Mariel, who's a friend and apprentice to Jolarzi Salavarian. So we had a great time that night, and we raised over $1,000 for CHOP. It was great, and I'm going to say I'm working on the next fundraiser for October. Okay, I'll just tell you that. I'm going to be working with someone local, but it's going to be a great cause, and I'm going to ask some channels to get. I'm not sure if it's going to be 16 hours or 20 hours, but we're going to have a cool one down the road. And after we get through Gen Con and all that stuff, I will get that to you. So, all right. But go ahead, Mark, bring one up for me.
Well, since Tim is here, I think I will bring up probably the one that he hated the most early on, and that is from the old days, Macrash the Elf Mauler.
Okay. Back in the day, I ran major antitheses against multiple groups of characters. Macrash the Elf Mauler was the second one I had. The first one was well before that, and her name was the Claw. Okay. Macrash was the second, but it was the most memorable. It's kind of like Tom Baker's Doctor Who. Everyone remembers Tom Baker because he was it for 7 years. Macrash is my Tom Baker. Go ahead. Tell some stories.
Yes.
What was Macrash's big thing?
Well,
There's this picture. Oh, the shield says, "I hate Skeeve" on it.
Yep.
Okay. Which is Tim's character Skeeve, but it got changed to "I love Skeeve" down the road, but we'll explain that. So, yeah.
Well, the fact that he's an elf mauler automatically puts you in kind of like, you know, if he was a drow mauler, fine, but elf mauler, you know, he's a bad dude. And I don't remember a thing. I do remember that he was always the sinister force in the back to have something bad happen. You're trying to fix it. You're getting after him. And the key to make and this is, take notes, the key to make a hated nemesis is to make sure they get away. It's never good to have one. It's like they get away, and I would have such seething, bubbling rage
Yes.
At him getting away. Now, of course, it's not directed at people. I mean, we're not crazy or anything, but it would be like, you know, and you're just so angry and frustrated. But then that just makes it even better. Next time, you're just ready to get him again. You know, it just, as it goes on, he keeps getting away. He's doing these horrible things. He gets away, and you might successfully win. He has to get away because you're going to kill him, and he's running away because we foiled what he's doing. But
yes,
it's like getting away and then always having something snotty to say and it would just add a little salt to the wound of him escaping. Am I right, Mark? He would always have some smart alecky freaking thing to say.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter what we did. You could get him down to single hit points, and Jay would just say, "Okay, bye."
But
off we go.
But and I'm gonna leave this for the other show that we did, Gabbin at Lord Peaks Haven, number 33. So that's a while back. Don't read the book. We talked about the story where Tim Skeeve imprisoned Macarash and how he subsequently became unimprisoned. And it's number 33. It's on the YouTube Mirror. Don't read the book. And we talk about all sorts of stuff like that, and including that story. So he gets unimprisoned and then becomes the antithesis again for a couple more years after that.
By other player characters.
Yes.
They free him because they're a bunch of... I mean, I know that I try to keep this a family show, so I'm not going to drop a bunch of bad language, but
yeah,
I was really disappointed in some of
yeah, to say the least.
Disappointed, not surprised, but very disappointed.
Which is actually funny when you think about it. So, well, Robilar's on there. There's Robilar, Taco. He's up. So, Robilar and Rary. Let's talk about them real quick. So, there's Robilar. Rary, it was a couple screens before. Greyhawk Wars. Everyone knows what happened. I know Greyhawk Channel's not there yet, but that's okay. Rary kills Autoluke permanently. Kills Tensor. Tensor gets returned in Return of the Eight, but Autoluke's permanently dead. Robilar and Rary flee to the Bright Desert. Dick move, right? So that we never have run Rary the Traitor. And there's reasons for it. I don't want him, off yet. Walt has a character named Lena, high-level mage thief. Lena is, how do I put this? Lena is Walt in a female form, right?
Yeah.
Cannot keep her mind on one thing or a transient. I'm sorry, Walt, if you're on. Transient as hell, right? When it comes to just all over the place, but thinks she's like the shit, right? She actually buys a house, which turns out to be Philur the Blues house in future Greyhawks on the city map, which is kind of funny. So we had to move her over to the next. So she's up in the high quarter, and she's like, you know what? I belong in the Circle of 8. Okay. So she goes to see Morning Canaan. And I think she goes to see, Big B and Morning Canaan. She goes, how do I petition to join the Circle of 8? And Morning Canaan says, it's simple. I will make sure you have a spot. It's reserved for you. I have one minor request. Okay. I want you to go and kill Rary for me. That was the end of that discussion. Right? She goes, I really don't know if I really need to be in Circle of 8 that badly. And that was it. So, yes, that's how you. Sure, you can join, but that's the way you stop that. So Robilar plays a big role. Wu-Tang Piglet in this, big role in this, to the effect that he kind of gets undone on what happened to him and why he participated in the Rary ambush. It's all discussed in this module, why he did it and where he currently is. It's kind of cool. A lot of people hate it. I kind of like it. So we have the Robilar in our campaign mentally pre-Rary ambush. He's still evil, but he's got a little bit of a different ethos to him. He's got the old ethos to him again. Look that up in that book. Pretty cool. Good connection there, man. Real good connection. Yes, you will like it. I think you will really like it. And I think you could probably get that one pretty cheap. So, cool, man. Let me see who we got down here still. Let's talk about. We're gonna go. Hey, Brian, good to see you. Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk has no module number. Yeah, it's just a whole book, right? It's just a whole book. Yeah. So, good to see you on, Brian. Let's talk about one or two more canon ones. Then we're gonna go to our favorite person's characters. We haven't talked about Alita Norbalos. I've made her way worse than she is, but Alita is still evil in the flavors. But Alita has become a major antithesis in our campaign, universally hated by everyone. She is right in line to become the leader of Hardby. She works with the slavers on the side. She has helped kill off an entire mercenary group in our campaign, the Furies. She, her and Michael Baton are arch enemies now, right? There's a lot going on there with Alita. She's a judge. She's a corrupt judge when she needs to be. Really hated our campaign, and that's all, a developed published source character that I've developed even further. And I know Alan can't stand her. Oh yeah, there's Bill's on. Hey, Forge Breaker, I'm glad. Thanks for coming on, man. Thank you so very much. I know we are Twitter friends, and I just thought maybe you'd like to check out our talk show too. So thank you so very much for coming on, man. Really appreciate it. Awesome. We need to do some mutual follows and some mutual auto hosts too. We can talk to you about that as well. Let's talk about. Let's see, who do we miss? Did I miss any others in canon I have up here?
Did you guys talk about the little guy?
No, we haven't.
Nope, not yet.
Oh, their Taco's throwing out the subs here and there. You talking about Phuket?
Yeah.
I have not talked about Phuket yet. Let's discuss. Let's see, Alita, Iaz, Rary, Robilar, Vane. I have a lot of the slavers on our group thing here. Taco, thanks a lot, man, for doing that. Forge Breaker has his own Forge Breaker TV, and he has his own streams as well, I believe, and that's great. And we're trying, like I said, we have a community of streamers on here. Will's on, Frank's on, yes, and a lot of our streaming partners are on. So we're trying to create a streaming alliance together here. I like some of them. They haven't come across Davis the Reaver yet. They haven't come across Marquesa the Gold yet. They haven't come across some of those, but those I'm bringing back more and more. Some of the old school Dark Brotherhood people like Holly, they've only seen. I haven't really thrown her. She's a 16th level cleric. I didn't want to throw her in that adventure we did a couple weeks ago. It wasn't time. There's a picture of Marquesa the Gold. So there's some really, the slavers have a lot of really evil people that people can't stand, and Alita works with them. What's that, Tim?
They're slavers, of course. They're evil.
Absolutely, and there's Marquette, the real Marquesa, and her consort Devin. So, yep, Frank. There's Frank. I know Will's roaming around too, and a couple other channels. And like I said, I appreciate everyone's partnership. Without you guys, we wouldn't be where we are today. And thank you so very much. All right, let's talk about them. And I don't want to besmirch one player, but it's so fun. Wayne's characters. Where do you want to start?
Oh, I'd say let's start with the most obvious one, which is Tandor.
Tandor, the Master Bard.
The Master Bard. So
let's go ahead and just say that he was one of the key elements in the freeing of Makarash. Go ahead and set the field right there. He was part of that team.
Yes, he was.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mark. Please continue.
No. That's okay. So Tandor was a straight fighter. He was known as Tandor the Red. Was a straight fighter that he had started off with that was double specialized in Bastard Sword. And over time, Wayne thought, you know what? I actually think I'm going to turn him into a bard. He has the stats, and decided to do so. The shame of it is Tandor actually wasn't really that bad of a character. It was just that the player was really that bad. And effectively what had happened was Jay made an unfortunate mistake at the time. There was a concept in the knighthood about becoming a knight officer if you had a fighter class, but you had to be of lord status. And at the time, it really wasn't as pronounced. And so Jay had allowed him to make Tandor a knight officer. All fine and good, until there came a situation where if I remember correctly, it was a purple dragon.
But that was Dalrin.
No. This was Tandor.
Okay.
As well, and basically ended up in first edition. Basically, bards, when they became bards, were also gained druidic powers, and so they gained shape-changing ability. Now, Jay has since banned that, which makes sense. But effectively, he had the ability to shape change and did so. And as a knight officer, you were supposed to be there to really help lead and so forth. And you're not necessarily going to just wade into to battle, but you're also not going to basically turn and run. So he did something even more cowardly than Tanis did against Lord Soft by turning and running. He turned himself into a mole and literally buried himself into the ground. And effectively ended up having a lot of knight characters underneath him and ended up getting killed.
That's true, including Gary Sharp.
Yes, which I think Prep. Wasn't it Prep that died?
Of course, Prep always died. Prep was short for Preparation H too, by the way,
later,
guys.
He had the opportunity at a little bit of redemption. And Jay purposely set up this arc with a Eye of Fear and Flame that asked him if he wanted ultimate power. And, I mean, Wayne took the bait because he was always power hungry and ended up finding another book with a cudgel and an orb. And the Eye of Fear and Flame, if you actually read them in first edition, will purposely go and try to, what's the word I'm looking for? Steer a good character the wrong way. And Jay must have asked him at least 3 times that I can remember, are you sure that you wish to do this? And he's like, absolutely. I have no doubts whatsoever. So he had to read the book and take the cudgel and smash the orb, which he did. And he was transformed into a shade.
Hey, they're really powerful.
Yeah, they are. They're very, very powerful. Knowing full well, of course, that would do nothing but piss Wayne off in the back end. He also the character himself also was brought to judgment because Swain was actually one of the ones that died permanently, and ended up getting resurrected and coming back. And it was the only time that we've actually held a trial.
Yes, we did
in the campaign, which is what got Tandor removed from being knighthood status, and the rule changed permanently that you had to be at least of lord status in order to be a knight officer. So
I completely forgot about that, Mark. See, I knew you'd bring back some kind of momentous decision. So Tandor was hot for Andrea Winchester. Everyone's seen Andrea. She has Winchester's Bulwark. It's an NPC of mine. Andrea was in the groups with those characters, and hence why Andrea is a little bit caustic, because she had to deal with them, those characters for a long time. But that's
it's really the player that was probably the problem in all his characters.
Yeah, probably.
He also had the little habit of cheating on his stats.
Yep.
Yeah. The one thing I couldn't stand was people who fudged stats, fudged items. It's just, we don't need that stuff.
When if you get resurrected or something, your constitution goes down a point.
Yeah.
And he would go ahead on the sly and put it back to its original number.
Without changing his hit points, though.
It didn't really help him at all, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
because he's not. Anyway.
Well, what do I do as Mr. Evil DM at some point? I have all his PCs and I turn them all evil and turn them all against the group, and just really went to town. Dalrin, Julak, Tandor, Bill Reese's. I went crazy with them. In fact, Zeno came back just a little while ago.
Yeah, just
for 2 rounds, a round and a half, 2 rounds. Yeah. So that's
back.
Yeah, I mean, with the history, when we go back so far, we got all these stories. You may say, "Oh, that's." Trust me, if you're DMing and you have a group, it's not roses for 39 years. It's just not reality. You always have, and we've gotten to a point where we've been static since 1992, with Tom filtering back in, thank God, right? But everyone's old. Everyone here in our group here is early 80s, but so we're talking pre-Bill. So Sharscore and Bill hasn't even played yet with these people. So Bill hasn't even been an influence on the campaign before, until after this all happened. So I just wanted to get that out there because I knew that would be
not a problem. Well, and I have to honestly say that it was kind of helpful for me because it took the heat off of me. So Jay actually started going after more of Wayne's instead of mine. So
yeah, I'm such an awful person, let me tell you. All right. I'm going to talk about real quick. Well, all hail to there's Bill and Tom. I want to talk about in Tim's campaign. All right, so 2 things. Trouble at Durbanford. We ran this after we did our version of Return to the Temple of Mental Evil with the Omega Patrol. I put this in the Grand March. It's an entire city. There's tons of subplots. I know you can get this cheap. It's hardback. Promising of great reward for braving grave dangers. It's a whole cool story. There's also drug addiction in it if you're really into that, like Walt, right? So all sorts of he had an awful good character, ended up character neutral because of this adventure, this series. Good one to get. Yes, a very nice one. Recommended. And the last one I want to show, and then I'm gonna put a teaser for Thursday night. Tim, this is the last edition hardback that they made. This book's like $150 now. City State of the Invincible Overlord. So I have the hardback version. I really haven't cracked it. I think it's 3.5. But yes, there's probably some good stuff in here. But I'll try and get you a PDF of it because I ain't giving you this one.
I believe I have a PDF of that.
Yeah, well, you do? Great if you do, because it's got some really cool things in it.
Is that maybe is that?
This is not that old. 2004 copyright Necromancer Games.
Okay, yeah, Necromancer Games. Yes, I have.
Cool.
I don't have a hard. I mean, it's PDF of that, but I have that.
So Bill says, yeah, it was the adventurer's fault that Walt turned from lawful good to chaotic neutral. Not really, but he got a new henchman who's still with the group, right? What's her name? I forget. What's her name, Bill? The redhead bandit. So Bill will remember. Wow. Gitano put something up cool. So we got some main ones that we want to discuss, and we want to do the background. So let's start with Mark can talk a bit. So I'm going to put up something, and Mark, why don't you start on Michael Baton's background and keep it so we don't get banned, all right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I will do my very best.
Thank you.
Okay, so Michael Baton actually is a real person as well. He was actually part of the same group that we had of players, and Michael was the actual person. Was of the persuasion that no matter what happened, his characters always just tried to get laid. Didn't make a difference. His characters were always the same. He had no other role-playing skills, no other real D&D skills. He was just in it literally just to be able to get sex from somebody. And so long after he and others left, I had this idea behind the concept of at the time we just had clerics. And so we didn't have specialty priests or anything at that point. And I had this concept about, you know what? You have clerics that if you go to have special spells done, like a raise dead or resurrection or regenerate or whatever, they're always getting paid in some way, shape, or form. The church, if you will, or temples, but is getting paid for their services. And I thought, well, if you really think about it, you would have clerics that would do the same thing. And so I made him of the same persuasion as the real Michael. And basically, he refused to do any kind of healing on anybody unless he got paid for his services, which I thought was actually fair. Needless to say, it really grew with a lot of contentment behind people. Michael is actually, to a degree, a little bit of a coward at heart, but he will defend when he needs to actually defend. But at very low levels, he would just make sure that people were willing to pay him up front for his services, unless, of course, that there was something that was coming after him, of which he would stand behind the fighters, and as the fighters were getting knocked down in early early levels, he made sure they got healed so that whatever creature was attacking him wouldn't get to Michael. Some others actually paid Michael. They paid Michael in advance to make sure that they got their healing and took advantage.
Early form of insurance.
See, look at Bill. So start scoring. Oh, I hate him so much.
So eventually, the character has grown into what we now have in Specialty Priest. He's a Specialty Priest of Zilchus, and Zilchus is always about money, money and wealth. And they leave no copper behind, effectively. And Michael was that way to begin with anyway. Now, as he is played, he encounters female NPCs all the time. And he has a lot of that. So there's a term that we used to use all the time that I always considered Michael. He was kind of like that Joey Bag of Donuts. Always had that look. That dark hair, hairy chest, gold chain, kind of a look.
Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry kind of a guy. And would use spells like command and dictate and so forth to get whatever it is that he actually wanted. Usually, most of the time, it was something to do with sex. And literally has grown into one of the most, if not the most hated characters in the entire campaign. Which I look at it, he's just misunderstood. I mean, to be perfectly honest.
He's hated, but he's loved. Like Rox and Naz and Gitano, they all love him because they love seeing what he's all about. So I brought him into Hardby because I really wanted to stick it to, in there. He had this group that he became the leader of called the Furies. Mark made up a group of NPC adventurers for me to run. And we all know, and Michael Michael Baton's Revenge and all that before in Power Play in Harby, which we streamed. The Furies were sent on a mission to recover one of the Gurner skiers that was in the ruins of Cantona, and didn't know who the hiring done. That ship hit the magic mines. Boom. They all got killed. Michael survived, Barter survived, but the rest of the group got killed. Michael swore revenge, thinks it's that person who's up now. Lita Norbalos did it. And in Michael Baton's Revenge, we all saw that just a couple months ago. He said, kill everyone, including all the slaves. Don't leave everyone. And there was all this negotiating going on, remember, during that adventure. So now, the next one, which I did the ad for at the beginning, if you missed it, it's called Michael Baton is Missing. Now, Bill, Alan, they said, we'll keep him missing. We don't care. So I'm trying to convince them to go on this adventure in Harby down the road, but we'll see.
So how much he'll owe you.
In the next one, Michael Baton is missing. They're going to have to go find him. That's the next one coming up. The ads are running for that now. But, yes. So,
and the interesting thing is it doesn't really make a difference who runs into him. Everybody just hates him. Whether they've met him before or not, they just ultimately just hate him.
That's true.
Hate his guts.
I want to say I haven't played with that character, but I have an ability where you're, especially in the early part of a game, where you meet an NPC and you realize they should be killed immediately, or you should kill them right now. And I mean, in any game system I played, I've sometimes felt we should kill this individual as soon as possible, right now. And usually I am 100% correct. Usually, I mean, it's either a betrayal or a huge detriment, or just. And when they were telling me about the tale of how this adventure that Jay mentioned was going down, I was like, I had that deep, visceral reaction of that guy should be killed immediately. They should have slain him right there on the spot. It would have been so much better for everybody.
Oh, yeah, because he said kill everyone, leave no one, even the slaves, no one, because no one can talk.
As soon as he said that, you just know nobody will miss a person like that.
I will.
D&D game.
There are plenty of people that will actually miss him.
Well, he's missing now.
Lawful neutral type of attitude he's lawful neutral.
Yeah.
He's despised. He is number one on the despised list. I think Bill Sisharscorn will agree. He supplanted Gilthinus as number one on the list. Now.
Yeah, my little voice.
I know. If we do any other canons, let's get the other one out of the way. That is like a Rox and Naz legend, an NPC of mine. I said it to Bill, and I think I said it to you, Mark, when I first started. I said, I'm going to make a character that's going to attempt to be as hated as Michael. Didn't I say that when I first made him? My intention on Fritz was to make him as hated as he is. Here's the story behind Fritz Winchester. He's really not a Winchester. That's the irony. But Fritz has had a tough life. A lot of people who have been with us for a long time have heard the story of Emerson Winchester III. He is a fallen paladin. He was corrupted by a cult that I've used for the last 30 years that still is in existence, the Amazons of the Crimson Moon. He got corrupted by them. He fell. He was a cavalier. He fell from a paladin to a cavalier. And I used him off and on in the campaign for a long time. He's the one Winchester that fell from grace. So if you look on here on the family tree, Emerson III is right here, okay, on the chart. All right. Emerson married a female lady of nobility from Rushford in Keeland named Dana Coldwell, and they had Marion Winchester. She's the water elementalist that you saw on the adventure with Garth, protecting the towers, and Emerson Winchester IV in the Reborn. There's no Fritz on here. So here's how the story goes. At some point, Dana is distraught. Emerson has left her. Who knows where he is off. Emerson has fathered a lot of children out there. A lot of my NPCs are Emerson children, by the way. You may run into them sometimes. But she gets, who knows, maybe it's the mailman. Who knows who it is, right? Fritz is born. Fritz is a Coldwell. Fritz is a problem child. Fritz is in jail as he grows up all the time. Fritz, no father figure. It's a tough life for Fritz, right? So she says, we're going to change your last name to Winchester. That maybe will protect you down the road. Makes things worse, right? Because the real Winchesters can't stand him. He gets, Mark's laughing. When he turns 17, he is involved in a robbery in Rushford. And typical J thief, just like Darius the Deposed. What does he do if he gets caught? He doesn't run. He tries killing the person who catches him, right? Aggravated assault. He spends 2 years in jail. Aggravated assault. When we started our new group of firsts, a lot of conscripts went to Winchester's Bulwark. If you guys all remember, there were no troops there. He was one of them. Marion Winchester, his half-sister, brings him there, and it's his last chance. If everyone remembers the beginning of those adventures, he was trying to escape all the time. You got to remember Poo-Poo and Kaka, the halfling and the bugbear, had to keep on catching him and bringing him back. So he kept on trying to escape. So Fritz is a thug, which is a subclass of thief, which is very frontal, class. So he's character neutral. My goal was to make a character that everyone really can't stand. He's not Michael Baton level. So there's Bill. Fritz is annoying as shit, right? He hates Alan's character Tharg. He hates him.
See, chaotic neutrals shouldn't. They're chaotic evil, but they're just pretending.
So that's
and we
the
should
story.
say, there's a big difference between being hated, which is what Michael is.
Michael's hated. Fritz and Bill puts it properly. He's a super douche, right? He is, but he belongs on this list because I intentionally made him that way. I said one of my NPCs in this group is going to be a douche, and he is, right? No one likes him. There's one person who likes him. That's Philip, right?
Yep. Well, that's because Philip is a douche as well.
Philip is too, but he's the older guy. So you guys will get to see Fritz on Thursday night, right? And probably Philip as well. Scrolling in the lower right-hand corner, we have our next adventure. I want to talk about that real quick, and also, hopefully I don't get disconnected here. I didn't show this, but I got it. I got the Vortex. Here's Vortex number 8 in real copy. Finally got it. Vortex magazine. This is Vortex. There are only 9 of them. This adventure we're going to do on Thursday night is out of Vortex number 8. And it is called The Hidden Temple of Rethnol by David Wonder. It says adventures levels 2 to 5. That's low. It's probably 4 to 5, I would say. This is a rare module. We were looking for it for years. Shashar, Score, and Bill actually got it off of the Grow Dog. Alan Grow was kind enough to email it to us because we wanted to run it. I felt obligated to get the actual copy of it because, that's in this magazine. I finally found it. So that's the next adventure we're going to do with the low levels coming up in the Principality of Ulick area out of Winchester's Bulwark, but they're going to go north. They're going north to the White Tower, which is Herbie's Keep. So I'll show it to you on the map. There's the White Tower in the north. That's where we're going to start this adventure out of. Now, Tim has Finder, and if you want, I know it's going to go on. This adventure is going to be about 3 to 4 weeks long at least. So just to put it in perspective, Fritz, you may see Fritz on Thursday. Depends on who I play, but yes, some cool things. Rare adventure. Greyhawk based. This was a Greyhawk based adventure written and put in this magazine. And when we talked about classic adventures in magazines a few weeks ago, I talked about this. I hadn't gotten this yet, but we got it. So and there's our group. There's our group of great adventures that we are talking about. So I know we got close to the time, but who else do you want to talk about? Audience want to talk about anyone? Bill, Tom, you're on. You guys want to talk about anyone?
How did we not mention Phuket?
We haven't yet. Good point. Let's talk.
He was a pre-Macarash, right?
Oh, look at this group of 4 characters. I wonder who they are in the lower right-hand corner.
He was actually after Macarash.
No, he was during Macarash.
Hey,
early
yeah,
on.
Well, I say after that Macarash was introduced first.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Phuket I hated that guy. Same sort of thing.
that is the figure. His hand fell off sometime in the 90s. It's a 3-stage gnome figure. It also doubles up as
Kroger.
Kroger, yeah. Jay found that a combination back in the day for a deep gnome. Deep gnomes were allowed to be illusionist assassins. Is a very, very nasty combination. There's Selenar. We didn't even talk about Selenar either. Very nasty combination. Illusion assassin. Deep gnomes radiate non-detection. They can cast improved invisibility.
Blur.
Bill, we talked about Gilthanus. Gilthanus was one of the first ones we did. We did Gilthanus early on. Blur. Mislead. Vacancy. Shadow Door. Crazy. Just dispel exhaustion.
Intense hatred.
It was my antithesis in the campaign after Makarash was taken care of. Gnome Illusionist Assassin assassinated a lot of Knights of Ulick, permanently killed off. Probably 3 of Mark's characters died. I know.
Yeah.
Back in it, yes. I killed off.
You'd always show up. You knew whoever something bad was going on, some big bad guy, and you always knew that somewhere in his little entourage was that little piece of crap. And sure enough, when you're trying to fight, what you see, somebody would drop dead because.
Yeah, absolutely. They a tough mix to deal with. And going back to Judge Porthos, that's a good one. That's a good one. But we'll bring that up real quick. Yeah, we'll definitely bring it up. No, look, we didn't, but we did fight some archdevils. We did. We'll discuss that real quick. So, Puked was the leader of the Dark Brotherhood at that time, and he was just sick, and he had this weapon. It was named the same one as in the A1, a Mornblade. It was a different Mornblade. Killed off a lot of people permanently in our campaign. It was really, really nasty.
And I will say the interesting thing about him was he was never intended to be an antithesis to Star Wars. It was just something that Jay had brought up. It was just an evil NPC that we were going to have to fight.
He could always get away.
He could always get away. I found how useful he was, and he got away in an adventure thanks to Mark.
Yep.
He got knocked off a bridge with a nice storm. And he was nasty. And as Makarash was out, I needed a new antithesis. He was in, and he was a good one because Wayne's character Dalrin and Julrek, I could get them to prep up because they were paranoid about getting backstabbed. I could get him to cast 6-7 defensive spells before he would get into a fight. Right, the fight was going on. Dalrin's a high-level mage. He's defending himself. Then I'd throw a Dispel Magic on him. Then he'd keep on prepping up again, and he would be completely out of the fight and never fight because he was so paranoid about getting assassinated.
Yep.
So, yes, very good. So, Luca Truba asked a question. Outer Planes. Early days, we fought Tativalis and Despater, right? In that one with Makarash, where it's the same adventure where Makarash got imprisoned, Luca Trooper. So
Tativalis apologized.
Yeah. Yep. Different day. It was right on the Monty Hall fringes, right?
Well, it was the head of the Knights of Ulick, right? It was the big heavy hitters.
Yeah, it was super high level. We're talking, we don't do that event levels anymore, but we're talking in some in the 20s. Like Florman was 22nd. There was a lot of high level characters in that. So yes, we did in those days.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. Yeah, absolutely. Skeeve's still around. So let's talk about Bill's not on. So you guys don't have a reference for Selenar. We'll save Selenar for another night. Yes. So let's talk about Randall White. Randall White's disappeared. He's been a hated member of the Knights of the Holy Shielding. He is the thorn in the side to David Gradavis, right?
Actually, he's not as much of a thorn to David.
Okay.
Per se. David actually just pities him and just tries to get him to see. It's going after like the person that is constantly making mistakes and just feel so bad for them. You try to get them to see the light, and they just have no desire to see it. He's more of an antithesis, I would say, to probably like the Legion. Or the Iron Brigade.
He's the pure lawful neutral form that Anna talks about, the militant type that's we're gonna damn the torpedoes. Remember, 1/3 of the entire army gets killed by that ever reappearing zombie army in the adventure we did because of his foolishness. Foolhardy is the right word, I think, for him. Him and Chet Bluegrass, his second in command.
Yep.
So
he is very similar for those like me that love Dragonlance. He's very much like Derek Crown Guard.
oh, that's a good reference. That's a real good reference. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a good reference on that. But in last week's adventure, Bill's character Shashar, yep, was it Shashar? I'm just my brain. No, what am I thinking? It's not. Her Cavalier. My gosh, my brain is fried. Sasha Silvercheck. The Keep Group goes and checks up on Randall White. She's a Knight of the Holy Shielding. He's gotten his tongue back. He got his tongue ripped out and all 4 of his limbs cut off. Basically ripped off from a demon. He's gone. No one knows where he is. Another J long-term thing going on there. Even Eric and Whistler don't know where he is. So, yeah, Taco, we don't play. So definitely. But that was one of our first mega streams. I think it was number 833, and we're at 856 now. That was like last August. We streamed that. When were you back here? August of last year?
Yeah, I want to say that.
I think it was about that long ago when we did that stream. And we did it in parts too, all over the place.
Yep.
So okay. Don't be scared, man. That's so Tim has to depart, but let's hear the date. Tim is going to DM for me and anyone else in our group on a Saturday night special in July in his City State of the Invincible Overlord campaign. Has it been 25 years since we played, Tim? Or 20? What do you think?
It's been, 2 decades. And so.
It's been that long. I am excited about playing in it. Looking forward to it.
27th.
There we go. 27th. So I'm here. I want to make sure I'm here. Yep. Okay. 27th is the date. Saturday the 27th. It will be our Saturday night special with Tim. I will change the date on the event schedule. I guessed I put it on the 13th. We're going to move it. It'll be the 22nd. 27th. Oh, good. Guy's birthday. Saturday night special, 7:30 to whenever. It'll be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Tim will be DMing for us. And
I apologize in advance.
It's City State of Invincible Overlord. I have a character named Dervilia Tadia. She's a Cavalier. Mark has Panul, a fighter mage, and Greenleaf, a druid. Yes. So we got some pretty cool characters. Walt's got a halfling thief and a dwarf fighter thief. And the NPCs is an elven fighter mage thief named Ulrich, and a gnome illusionist thief named
Andrus
Philandrus. So it'll be cool.
You forgot your other character, Jay.
Oh, Kixano. He's a fighter cleric mage. He's a poor man's Kazumba. Tim, you got a bolt. We'll see you, man. Thanks for hopping on. Mark and I'll finish up things here. Yep. Talk to you soon, man. Thanks for that date. Yeah, we got a date set. That's awesome. The week before,
I want to modify my normal methodology to fit the tactical.
Well, you and I got to get together on what I got to build up and stuff and figures and all that stuff. And so we have some time. It's the weekend before Gen Con. So it's going to be a lot going on. It's awesome. All right, man. Talk to you soon. See you.
Yeah.
All right. So, Mark, in finishing up, what do you think? You got anyone else you want to talk about?
Oh, wow. Honestly, I don't. I think that we covered quite a lot of the...
We may have missed one or two here. Like Selenor, if I had someone with a reference point on, I'd talk about Selenor. Yeah. If Bill was on, I'd talk about Selenor.
And maybe... who's his... I love David Gradivus. I hate David Gradivus.
Ajun.
Ajun, yes.
Quite a rogues gallery, Grendel. Absolutely.
Just about all of his characters are part of the rogues gallery.
Absolutely, Gitano. We have, and that's the great thing with a 39-year campaign. We got some great memories. We got some old school characters that we just, it's like talking. It's just sitting around talking with your friends about it. That's why we're gabbing at Lord Peak's Haven. You know what I mean? But Carlos's adventure is after this. Is after will be in that group of characters. The third one, the Tenebrous Steep, is after the Hidden Temple of Erethnal, which is Thursday night. So I wanted to sneak peek it for everyone. Some of the pictures. I did as much as much Master Maze as I could. I'm gonna have to use the tiles that are there for a lot of the other rooms. That's the first level. It's as much as I could do in Master Maze. And the name of the inn in the White Tower is the White Lion, and Alan gave me that. So I wanted to call it the Salty Dog or something else, but he wouldn't do it. So I guess as we're winding down here, another great night. This is what's going to be going on. We got 4th of July coming up. So here's the schedule, and it'll be events. The events button on mine's always updated for the next 2 weeks, guys. On the top bar, it's always updated. You can press that and see what's going on. Thursday night will be the next night we'll be streaming. We'll be doing the Hidden Temple of Erethnal. A lot of pre-stuff going on roleplay wise. It's that'll be those characters level 2, 3, and 4. So that's the group we're going to start with. We're gonna do, and that this adventure is going to take a couple weeks. Then Sunday night, next Sunday, we're going to go back to our very successful delving series. Next week, we're going to delve into thieves. We've never done one. We're going to talk about the thief class. We're going to talk about the assassin. We're going to talk about offshoots. We're going to talk about the swashbuckler. We're going to talk about the bounty hunter. We haven't done that, Mark, and I think that would be a good delving one.
That'd be a really good delving.
And so we're going to go into all the classes that we have that are custom, special rules we use, the Thief Acrobat, all sorts of different things that we've done in our campaign for thieves. So our delving series, we've done fighters, paladins, elementalists, specialty priests. We're going to delve into thieves next week. So I'll be Gabbin number 52 at the same time as this one. And then the day after that, July 1st, you're back on.
Yeah.
What group are you doing? Do you know yet?
My understanding is we're probably going to end up doing the Shieldland group.
Yeah.
It's going to finish up with Slap, and then from there go to the Shieldland group.
Just send me the name of the adventure and any pics you have so I can update the events.
Yep,
okay.
Absolutely.
That week we are not playing on July 4th. Obviously, it's a Thursday. We're not playing though. We're playing Tuesday the 2nd. Okay. So we got 3 straight nights in a row the week after. Sunday night, 31st, July 1st for Mark, July 2nd for us on our normal Thursday night will be moved to Tuesday because of 4th of July. So we got a lot in store for you guys within the next week and a half. Fun times. Yes, lots of good stuff coming, good content. Tuesday nights have always been good to us. It's a good night to move it. Yes, exactly, Gaetano, Tuesday night. Sorry, Will, if you're on, it's going to conflict with your game. There's just not much I can do about that, or Frank's crafting session. It happens. So, Mark, what do you got going on? Anything you want to talk about or announce?
No, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed with Slap. So they ended up taking care of the witch. They had 2 characters at -9. They had 1 character that actually died. And got beat up actually pretty good. So it was a really great adventure. Gave them some, once again, these are newer players and have been playing for about 1.5 years, 2 years now. Gave them an intro into essentially when a character actually dies, and they're going to learn what transpires after about getting a character raised and some of the debts it is that you have to actually pay from that kind of a concept. So. But yeah, no, all really great stuff. I definitely encourage you, if you see Jacob Jansen on, you have the opportunity to see his work. He does absolutely fantastic work. I know I can't thank him enough for the stuff it is that he builds for our campaign on Monday nights. We had a really great turnout the last Monday that we played. Well over 160 people at one point. which we were totally flabbergasted by. So if you have the opportunity to join in, I encourage you to do so. I do have a little bit of a different style than Jay does.
Which is good. It's different styles.
Pretty close, though.
We're 1E, 2E, mini tabletop. And then some offshoots. He does individual initiative. I do joint initiative. It's all minor stuff, guys. But it's all, that's the thing about DMing. You gotta
thanks, Grendel.
We're not all the same. Yes,
yep,
definitely. So I'm just going to make an announcement about Gen Con. Mark, myself, and two other gentlemen are at we're at the Greyhawk Channel's hostel.
Yep.
We're at Room C. We're all going to be there, Mark and I and two other gentlemen. I am DMing with Carlos on Thursday. Tacos in the game. Yeah, man, if you're going to be there, Duff, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Tacos in my game on Thursday goes from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. because it's me 4 hours, hour break, Carlos 4 hours, Horror in the Hools, and that'll get published by Carlos's company after that. But I am supposed to be DMing for the Greyhawk channel Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. Haven't finalized that with Shane yet, but I'm going to be doing something tabletop style on Saturday at the hostel, so that'll be cool. So there'll be a lot of fun stuff going on. I can't wait to meet everyone. Okay, well that's cool. That's cool, Duff. I'm there Wednesday afternoon, and then I'm going to leave Sunday morning and get back home. So I'll miss Sunday's festivities at Gen Con, but I'll have plenty of time with that. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Brian. So another thing I wanted to say is Brian Blumklotz, and you can't see it, I'm going to blow it up. He finished the collar chain or a version of it. Here it is. That's the full Knight of Ulick induction collar chain. Okay, it's awesome. And when a knight gets inducted, they get a collar chain to signify they're of Lord status. And, we had half of it. He's done that. He's going to clean up a little bit and do some things, but it's now in the rotation, the Knight of Ulick, Order of Ulick. And remember, guys, my shirt is Brian. All Brian's doing, our Order of Ulick symbol is from Brian. So it's so awesome. Thank you so much. But I wanted to show everyone that that's been put in our rotation of symbols for the order. Yep, absolutely. And I think that's about all it. Look at that. We only went 12 minutes late, a little bit after that. But guys, thank you all again. It's always a pleasure. Appreciate the support.
Yeah, always very humbling.
Yes, it is. It is extremely humbling. Like I said, if you look on our broadcast, you have Brian's heraldry, Anna's maps, Brian's heraldry embedded in Anna's maps, and Darlene's fonts now. Greyhawk Gothic is being used. So it is an honor to have all that, and it really gives us it makes us feel like we're legitimate in the community out there, and I really appreciate what everyone's done for us. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so very much.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're on again Thursday. But if you need to reach me, you can always find me on Discord. You can find me via Messenger here, or some of you have my phone number. Whatever you need, you can reach me. I'm around Twitter. I hate Twitter, but I'm on Twitter. Lord Gazumba, all one word. The YouTube mirror is Lord Space Gazumba, and that has almost every vid we've ever done. Some of the early broadcasts aren't on there, but mostly every Gabbin's on there if you want to check out some of the old shows. Other than that, guys, I'm going to go real quick to the Michael Baton is missing, and then we'll do the end with our favorite Miniature Building Authority, because I know a lot of people missed this. This is a teaser down the road. Please understand that. No date set yet, but I'm working on this one. All right. Just remember, doesn't matter the edition you play. Play Greyhawk. Greyhawk's where we're all at. It's what we all glory be. Greyhawk's where it's at, guys. Thanks a lot for a great show, allowing us to share our campaign and some canon individuals with you on characters you love to hate. Next week, delving into thievery. All right. See you soon. switching to our Miniature Building Authority sponsor. By the way, anyone who's still on NBA will be at Gen Con as well. And they'll have this entire Harbor Town on display at their booth. I can't wait to get my Kickstarter Harbor Town.